Episode 5 was awesome. I've rewatched it for a third time now, and I'm excited. I'm excited for the final episode of the series. My heart's already broken so many times. I don't know if I could fucking take it. In this video, I'm gonna explain why Daenerys is awesome and is right in everything that she does. I wish that's what I could say, but I'm actually gonna discuss what I think will go down in the final episode for Game of Thrones. Now, I will do a fair amount of preaching on behalf of our queen, and I will also be covering the perspective of our king. Now, per usual, this video will contain spoilers, so here's your sign. And let's begin. Now, before we get started, please slap a like on this, as the like goal is going to be 20,420. Also, make sure you're subscribed. We are so close to hitting 100,000. And also, make sure you turn your notifications on so that way you get alerted every single time I drop a video. Long nights. Now, the first thing that I want to discuss is actually something that I didn't touch upon in my live stream and my episode 5 breakdown. Speaking of which, if you want to see either of those, click right up here to watch my episode 5 breakdown, and then click here to watch my episode 5 live stream / live reaction. Now, what I'm referring to is the scene in which Varus is basically his last scene. He's sending letters to pretty much all of the kingdom about the news of Jon Snow's lineage. Now, I'm pretty sure he got a good number of those letters sent out, and I'm going to get to why I'm bringing this up in a second, but I do need to pause and insert my comments on Varus' death. I do think it's sad that we lost a character that we've had since season 1, but also he was fairly freaking warned. He was told, don't screw up, bro, or I'm going to burn you with my dragon. He was given the chance and warned by Tyrion not to keep fucking up, but he kept doing it. Varus' death alongside Cersei and Jaime's were 100%, at least I can say for Varus, his death was 100% justified. Jaime flip-flopped so much, he deserves to die with Cersei. We all know Cersei deserves death, but I'm getting sidetracked. The reason why I bring up Varus writing the letters is because now the main focus of this next episode is going to all center around the war between the final 2 Targaryens. One is the rightful heir, the other one is the rightful heir. One of them doesn't want the Iron Throne, and the other one knows nothing but the Iron Throne. What I'm getting at here is in Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 6, the final season of Game of Thrones, the whole focus will likely be around Jon Snow and Daenerys and who will sit the Iron Throne. From the preview, we actually see Daenerys addressing what's left of her army, and you know what? It's pretty freaking massive. Well, when you compare it to the other potential prospect for the Iron Throne and someone who I equally enjoy and love just as much on screen, okay, well, obviously Emilia Clarke a little bit more, but Jon Snow, when you look at their forces, Daenerys could easily take over the north if she had to. The problem is, I think that may be her strategy. All of the advisors that would have advised her against it can't do anything, well, because they're dead, and Grey Worm, I'm pretty sure, is going to tell her to fire and blood the rest of the 7 kingdoms. They're going to hate Daenerys, especially when they find out what happened in King's Landing. I feel like the only thing, or the only way she may successfully sit the Iron Throne and get the 7 kingdoms under her belt is through fear. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think that's the right way, but we've gone this far and she's lost so much, no one would advise her differently. I'm pretty sure episode 6 is going to start out with the trial of Tyrion Lannister. I hope he doesn't get put to death, and if he is put to death, it's not through dragonfire. I couldn't imagine hearing Tyrion scream bloody murder, and watching Daenerys kill the last Lannister could finally be something that would push me over the edge to the other side. No, that's not true. I'm going to stick by my queen, unlike Jon Snow, until the very end. Until literally the very few seconds of the episode, I will try to retain in my mind's eye that what Daenerys is doing is justified. Tell me I'm the leader of the cult of Khaleesi if you want to, I don't really care. I look at this story as a whole. I look at her journey all the way from the beginning, and if someone deserves to sit the Iron Throne the most, it is Daenerys. Even if she doesn't rule in the end, or even if, the Iron Throne isn't really a thing, she's the best potential ruler the 7 kingdoms can ask for. Like, Jon Snow may be loved by the people because he's a war hero, but the fact that he doesn't want the Iron Throne wouldn't make him as potentially loved as Daenerys is. We have to remember, all the way back over in Essos, which wasn't that long ago, Daenerys inspired way more people than Jon Snow. And what's different is Jon Snow mostly inspired the Northerners, who are likely going to spread the stories down south, and then eventually literally all of the Seven Kingdoms will hear about how awesome Jon Snow is and how he sacrificed everything and put everything on the line just to make sure the common people are safe. Well, Daenerys did that too, on a much more massive and greater scale and in a foreign land where she was mostly unwelcome. Oh wait, shit, let me back up. Jon Snow did that too, in the north. No one wanted him at the wall. This man was stabbed in the chest for his people. He died for his people and was brought back only to be potentially killed again, risking everything to save his people. The same in Daenerys, and that's what makes this show so amazing, is the fact that we have to choose in between two of the greatest characters of this entire series. And in my opinion, this series is the greatest of all time. So potentially they're pitting the two greatest characters in television and almost in cinematic history against each other. And we have to choose for the finale? Come on, this is near impossible. I need to move on to what else may happen in this episode before I literally have a nervous breakdown in this video. Now, we don't actually get many shots of what actually will happen in the episode, and that makes me oh so much excited, or that much more excited. What we do get to see is Jon Snow, Tyrion, and Davos, and you can see Jon Snow in Davos sort of through the smoke right here, but they're all walking through the streets of King's Landing. I'm pretty sure they're going to see a bunch of gruesome stuff that's going to make you feel just as fearful and as intense about Daenerys as the characters do, but it appears as though Arya, Tyrion, Jon, and Davos are walking up to what will likely be the greatest monologue of anyone ever. Daenerys is really famous for giving these speeches, and I'm pretty sure this one is going to knock your socks off. Now, whatever she says in this speech is going to determine the rest of the episode. It looks like all of her remaining Dothraki and Unsullied forces that survived the battle for against the living and the undead are present here, and I don't really think anything's gonna pop off. I feel like most of the characters are gonna listen to what she has to say, take it to heart, and then split up their separate ways. Daenerys will likely give a few of them tasks to complete if she doesn't deal with Tyrion right away, and whatever survivors are around in King's Landing, you know, the actual citizens or maybe a few of the Lannister soldiers, I wouldn't be surprised if Daenerys started out by burning them. I mean, they're fully committing to her being the Mad Queen, and I gotta admit, you know, it's a guilty pleasure, but I like it. It's almost like watching your favorite good guy go bad. That's what's so great about this, and I think, you know, the reason why it's more emotionally wrecking me right now is because it hasn't actually completed yet. We're still 1 week away from the freaking finale, and I just know it's going to be yet another nail biter. You know, I know we see Arya sticking around in that trailer, at least for Daenerys' speech, but I'm pretty sure she's gonna head up north and immediately go start, like, warning Sansa about what the hell is coming their way. A freaking dragon and a bunch of Unsullied and Dothraki. I don't know if it's gonna go that far, but I'll mention this now, and I mentioned it in my live stream. When Arya saw the white horse after everything was literally dead, she saw that white horse and then the ashes falling in midair, reminded her of home, reminded her of Winterfell. This was a very similar looking horse that she was riding on when she chose to go home to Winterfell instead of down to King's Landing. Well, now she survived this last traumatic experience, and I'm pretty sure she's fully ready to become Gendry's lady. Speaking of Winterfell, the north, I guess we should mention Sansa. She wasn't in this episode at all, and I'm pretty sure she's going to be one of the biggest opposers of Daenerys in this next episode. The biggest issue that I think we're going to run into there is the fact that Sansa sent most of her troops of the Vale down south, and Winterfell is extremely underprotected. Wouldn't it be insane if the Night King shows up in like the last 5 minutes and just kills everyone? A man can hope. But on a serious note, if they do go the route of Daenerys sending troops to sort of get Sansa to lay over her crown and rebend the knee, if you will, I doubt those tensions would escalate much further. I mean, I don't know. Like I said at the beginning of this video, it's crazy to think about, and I don't want to get through a nervous breakdown, you know, in the middle of trying to record this. So you all let me know what you think will happen down below in the comment section. I think we may be being misled a little bit. The fact that we don't get to see much from the episode 6 teaser makes it a more enjoyable experience, but it also makes that wait so much more excruciating. We all know bittersweet has been drilled into our heads, and like I said at the beginning of this video, bitter has mostly happened in this episode. It was like biting into a 9-volt battery after eating 17 million warheads. One might even say that Tom Segura is the water champ and they went full throttle in this episode. But seriously, when are we gonna get to the sweet part? I mean, we kind of got a little bit of like one sweet moment in the episode, and that was the embrace between Jon and Daenerys, but Jon pushed her away, and the moments with Jaime and Cersei were just pure bitter. This series has to end in one of 3 ways: a marriage, a child, whether that be more dragons or a child between Jon Snow and Daenerys, or a pact. pact of ice and fire, if you will. That would be an agreement between the North and the South, an agreement between Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen. I mean, seriously, if one of them dies, I just remember how hard it was to watch Jon Snow die on screen and then to be teased so much with Daenerys almost dying at any second. I would probably have to go see a therapist. I know, it's not healthy to be this emotionally attached to fictional beings, but I really can't help myself, yeah. We can't get a death. The series better not end in the death of either Jon or Daenerys. Now, one thing that I briefly mentioned at the beginning of this video was how Grey Worm is gonna be Daenerys' closest advisor, and he's bloodthirsty. Rightfully so, because what he's been through, but if you'll recall, in episode 5, Grey Worm watched Jon Snow attempt to help the citizens of King's Landing. Now, they were all given direct orders from Daenerys to charge the city and kill pretty much everything until the city itself was captured. Now, I do think that Grey Worm respects Jon, but the fact that he did that little sleight of hand at the war table where he grabbed Viserion's emblem on the map and moved it with Daenerys' fleet makes me think that he will advise Daenerys to not trust anyone. And it's kind of rightfully so, because again, they have lost everything. You cannot blame them for the actions they take in this next episode, unless they kill Jon or any of the Starks. Now, we're getting sort of close for time for this, and I'm going to end it like I do most of my videos with a bit of a rant. Now, I saw, and I mentioned this in my live stream myself, that I kind of wished in some moments that Arya would pick up the bow and just fire it towards Daenerys. Just not even, maybe, obviously not hit her, but just do something to sort of get her attention so she could look down and see at what she's doing. If Daenerys could look and see all the pain and chaos that she's causing, she may have stopped. The problem is, when you're up that high and you're filled with that much rage, it's impossible to send the pain below. It's pretty much like suffocating. No, seriously, sometimes when you're that angry, it's impossible to come down until you see the pain that you're causing others. The reason why I felt like addressing this, though, is because I see it becoming a quickly popular theory that Arya will be the one to kill Daenerys. That's not happening. Arya can't somehow survive the invasion of King's Landing, take out the Night King, survive the invasion of Winterfell, and then kill Daenerys. That's just too much for one character. What may happen is, if she does attempt to kill Daenerys, maybe she's killed in the process. Maybe this is ultimately what gets Jon Snow onto that level of, I need to take out Daenerys. She's officially the Mad Queen. Whatever happens in this final episode of Game of Thrones, it will be legendary and also insanely painful. There's no way this show is going to let us off the hook and have most of the bitter part of our bittersweet ending in episode 5. There's going to be plenty of bitter for episode 6. I just hope it doesn't overpower whatever sweet flavor we're given for the ending. And if you're wondering why I keep making food references, that's because I'm extremely hungry, as I've been up all night and have not eaten my supper. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. If you could please slap a like on this video. The like goal is going to be 5,420. Also, make sure to subscribe. And also, this is the most important part, make sure you have your notifications turned on, so that way you get alerted every single time I drop a video. Super special shout out to every single person watching this, and a super special thank you to every single member of my Patreon family over on patreon.com/SirHuntsReviews. I want to thank you all again so much for watching. My name's Mark, and this has been Sir Hunt's Reviews. And you know what? That bit of singing Chevelle earlier in the video kind of got me in the mood, so long hearts have been hurt, but I used to send the pain below till I need it. Okay, I don't remember the lyrics. You know, it was a high school song. Shamana beat bacha.